So, why do people move abroad and still have problems? Move abroad and still have anxiety, still be on their mental health medications, sometimes still have health problems, still overweight, still afraid to try new things, still doing the same things that they were doing when they were when they were in the States. Well, there's a lot of reasons. The biggest one, I believe, is because we don't know that there's better. We don't know what better looks like. I'm Coach Tish. I moved to Playa del Carmen, Mexico, a little beach town, when I was 36 years old. For 8 years, I've done all the things that social media says we should do. I did the nomad life, living out of my backpack and in Airbnbs for months or sometimes a year at a time. I've traveled the world. I've done everything that I thought would make me happy, healthy, and feel free. Spoiler alert, none of that shit worked. So today I'm going to give you what is working. I'm on a healing journey, 90-day healing journey. Um, and I'm going to give you a heads up into like what it actually looks like to heal abroad. It's definitely not what people are telling you on social media. It's something else. So let's get into it. Moving to a new place does not heal you. Going on a retreat does not heal you. Information by itself will not heal you. Rest by itself won't heal you either. Healing starts when you start leading the healing. So here's the thing. A lot of us think, and it's not through no fault of our own, that simply moving to a new place means that we will all of a sudden be healed. Again, not our fault. There's a ton of people on social media who are making it seem like the only thing you need to do is get to a place. The only thing you need to do is pack your bags and buy your ticket, and the healing waters of Lake Ponkatonka will make all your problems go away. I too thought that, right? So I cannot fault people who may be early on in their expat or immigrant journeys who put that message out there. Because I thought that too. I thought that simply moving to Playa del Carmen, a little beach town in Mexico, would utterly and completely change my life. So much so to the point that paradise and amazingness would be my portion from that point forward. And that was not the case. For the first 3 years that I lived in Playa del Carmen, quite honestly, I was bored. From the outside looking in, it felt like and it looked like I was living in paradise, which I was to a certain extent. Behind the scenes, my nervous system was not used to being in a place this calm, not used to being in a place where the ocean breeze was and the sidewalks were the most dangerous things in my life, right? I was in a position where I did not know that I needed to lead my own healing. Well, it's been 8 years since 2018, and that's what I know. Most of the people who are probably watching this will not have 8 years to get to a place and then figure it out. So I am creating this video with the intention of fast forwarding the process for you a little bit, hopefully giving you a little bit of a shortcut, and letting you know exactly what you can expect if you intend to actually know firsthand what it means to heal from being born, bred, raised, and living in the US of A. Now, if you're watching this, I'm going to think that it's safe to assume that you are either interested in living abroad or already living abroad, or maybe you just like hearing people talk about living abroad. And so subconsciously, this is something you're interested in. But here's what I want you to know off top. The next 90 days that I am focusing on my own healing, I'm healing in a lot of different ways. But I just want you to know up front, this is not a diet challenge. This is not about me creating some fantasy about escaping from the US. This also isn't about being in a specific location or a specific environment. I am on a 90-day journey to hopefully prevent a surgery that I was told that I need to have. And I'm sharing it because it's a part of a journey that I'm already on, and quite honestly, one that I've been on. Last year, I found out that I got diagnosed with bursitis and sciatica. And I started this process of really focusing on healing my back, ironically, so I wouldn't have to have surgery. In the process, I completely changed my life. I changed what I did for fun. I changed how I worked. I changed what I ate. And somehow I miraculously lost about 25 pounds without even focusing on it. At least not focusing on it in the way that we know to focus on it. I wasn't spending hours in the gym. I wasn't working out heavy. I literally just changed my diet and focused on eating foods that I knew would heal the pain, heal the inflammation I was experiencing, and hopefully, again, help me prevent prevent me from having surgery. Now, here's the thing. Most of us think that if we just simply change our environment, that we will all of a sudden be cured. And for some things, some, not all, that is in fact true, right? But for the vast majority of things, thinking if I just move, if I just take time off, if I just rest, healing isn't something that happens to us. It happens with us. In other words, we have to participate, right, in our healing. Now, that's something completely different from how healing is experienced and talked about in the States. I know. I am from a family that has experienced dementia, diabetes, high blood pressure, COPD, emphysema, all of these diagnoses. And as I've watched different family members have these diagnoses, what I realize is that for most of us, we think that we can simply outsource our healing. All we have to do is go to the doctor and they will suddenly heal us. That's what we've been led to believe. That's what um, society tells us. Everything tells us that if we go to the doctor, they have enough information, they have enough training, they know everything. And this one person is almost like God, and they will be able to change our lives completely. Our bodies are not passive, okay? Healing, specifically when it comes to healing emotionally or physically or spiritually, our healing is waiting on us. Okay, that's what I know. That's what I've experienced, um, and so that's what I'm sharing with you. Now, most of the time, again, because of how we were raised and what we grew up hearing and seeing, we try to piecemeal our healing. Right? The assumption is, well, if I just take these classes, or if I just read these books, or if I just listen to these podcasts or watch these YouTubes, that somehow I can fix myself. When the truth is, most of the time, our healing attempts are not working because we're trying to DIY something that requires collaboration. The journey that I was on last year, the journey that I'm on this year, I'm collaborating with professionals. I'm the leader. I'm driving this vehicle and I'm inviting others to sit in the seat with me and like share their expertise. Now, to be fair, I'm working with professionals who have a variety of different skill sets, but I'm not just simply passing my experience or my body or my healing over to them. Like I said, I'm trying to prevent a surgery. And so my expectation is whatever they say, I am absolutely going to research on my own. I am absolutely going to um, figure out how what they're saying fits into the life that I desire to live. There's an assumption in our community that, well, if I'm smart, I can figure this out. I'm telling you, as someone with a master's degree who did not begin learning about my own body well after I had dropped out of my PhD program, that simply being smart or intelligent does not mean that you know how healing works. Okay. And that's not a knock on you. It's literally just the way the systems that we live within, right, have trained us to think, trained us to quite honestly miss out on the next level that is available to us because we think, oh, I'm smart, I can figure this out. We oftentimes don't depend on or seek to partner with other practitioners, right? Instead, and this kind of behavior is what's been rewarded our entire lives. If you're over 40 like me, you've been rewarded and got pats on the back for every time you've done things on your own. But that type of soloist, individualist approach is exactly what keeps us stuck. Most of us don't realize that more times than not, we're not able to see our own blind spots. That's why it's important that we partner with people we trust. Personally, I am heavily into working with women, and specifically women of color. I used to exclusively work with Black women, um, in terms of like working on healing my body. But what I realized is I need a variety of different practitioners. Now, I still will look to Black women first, um, but I and variety. Let me just be clear: women of color from different parts of the world. Because living in Mexico, exclusively working with Black women is not. It just doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work as well as I would like it to. I want to hold your hand when I say this. A lot of times, the retreats that we go on, the programs that we join, the reason that they feel good, but they don't necessarily work is because there's some questions that nobody's asking. Like, what behaviors are we focusing on changing? What happens when we go home? What are we measuring? How am I integrating what I'm learning while I'm kind of away from my home life? How am I going to integrate what I'm learning into my life after the event? Here's the thing, when integration is nothing more than we take what we've learned and then apply it within our real life. When integration isn't a part of the experience, the container that we join or the experience that we're a part of, this idea of healing ourselves, it just becomes another form of entertainment. I was talking to a young lady some time ago who really wanted to change her life. She wanted to do things differently. And when we decided, or when we began talking about really focusing on what that looks like, right? That means she's getting all of the attention, all of the focus is on her. She kind of got uncomfortable. And what I realized is for many of us, we're not used to the focus and the attention being 100% on our healing. That young lady eventually decided to sign up for a retreat. And I don't say that to say anything negatively about her, but what I realize is for many of us, we're not ready for the accountability and that kind of focused attention on ourselves. So here's my experience. Last year, I was able to heal the burnout that I experienced in about 6 weeks or so. And it's not because I'm special. What I realized in that 6 week time frame, what took me 6 weeks oftentimes takes many people 12 weeks or more, right? And the reason that I was able to do that in 6 weeks is because I stopped outsourcing my healing. I stopped putting my healing from burnout in someone else's hands. Sure, I read the books, I listened to the podcasts, I attended certain healing experiences, but that wasn't it. That my healing and the responsibility of my healing, I did not put in someone else's hands. What I did was I had to change how I was thinking about healing. And every event, every book I read, every podcast, I looked at it as another piece of the puzzle. It was a piece, I was looking to it as a resource or a piece of the puzzle that I was eventually going to use and integrate into my real life. So, for example, I'm trained in TRE, trauma release exercises, right? I found out about that when I was in Thailand, and then later became trained in 2019 or so. What I learned in that experience and really in that container was really about how the nervous system works. And so when it came time for me to understand how burnout was impacting me and how I was going to heal from burnout, I tapped into the knowledge that I knew about the nervous system and how to heal the nervous system. I used that knowledge in as I created my own plan. I was already measuring stress. And so I was working with the coach who showed me how to measure stress, how to measure recovery, and how to actually, with real numbers, this is not just some pie in the sky thing. This is like actual numbers. But how I could find out how much my nervous system was actually healing. For those of you who don't know, I have an accounting degree. So I'm very much so. I'm now working in the mental health and the healing spaces. I'm trained as a life coach, but I went to college for accounting. So I am very much so into hard numbers, right? I also I went to school, massage school, and was certified as a national certified massage therapist. Took the exam and everything, and so I am clear on how stress and work, quite honestly, inflames the body, right? And so as I was healing myself, I had to pull on the knowledge that I had. For all right, how do I begin reversing some of this inflammation? I'm trained as a community herbalist, trained and certified. And so I pulled on my knowledge for how does food tie into repairing this inflammation and repairing my body at the cellular level. Again, I just want you to, I'm sharing some of these things because even with all of these certifications and the training that I have, I still was clear that I cannot do this by myself. The US trains us to think that we are able and we should be able to do everything alone. And the truth is, that's why some of the healing that we would like to have takes so long. Right? Is because we're doing things on our own. Last but not least, I took graduate courses in behavior change. The psychology in particular of behavior change. What does it mean to change behavior? What are some of the things that I have to tap into from my own psychology so that I can change things like my food and change my thoughts around exercise so that I can be consistent about them? One of the biggest things that I learned and that I realized is that we force ourselves to do things that we don't want to do, and we're working against our psychology when we do this. One of the biggest quote unquote hacks that I learned and that I pulled on was that I actually have to do things that I enjoy. When it came to eating healthier, this food had to be damn delicious. Okay. I am not a fan of nasty food. And I know that if it didn't taste good, there's no way in hell I'm going to eat it. So I had to really and truly, when it came to eating anti inflammatory foods that actually heal me, they had to be delicious. And I had to eat things they had to be foods that I would naturally eat. So things from around the diaspora, right? I was eating Jamaican food, Trini food, Haitian food, Thai food, literally the same foods that I would eat. I just made sure that I made them and made substitutions in a way that I would actually enjoy it. And then that way I wouldn't need to be motivated. My motivation would come from internally because who doesn't want to eat delicious food? Who doesn't want to do activities if they're fun, right? And so all of these things really helped me to figure out better ways to measure the changes that I was making so that I could ultimately develop and create a different relationship with my body, with my mind, and with this journey that I'm on. So here's the thing. This 90-day healing abroad journey that I'm on now, it's not about Playa del Carmen. It's about how do you change your environment plus create rhythms and routines plus leadership plus nourishment so that I can ultimately create the healing that my body desires. And not just my body, girl, I desire. I did not move abroad to be having surgeries, right? To still be wondering why I can't get to sleep. And sure, some people will just chalk it up and say, oh, that's just perimenopause. I'm not of the belief that because things are happening or because I'm at a certain stage in life, that I just have to lay down and take it. That's the whole point. That was the whole point of me learning and training as an herbalist, learning how stress impacts the body, learning about behavior change and trauma. This is why I got certified as a health coach and a life coach and a mental health coach. It's so that when things happen to me, I didn't just have to lay down and take it. I would know what herbs and what foods and what resources and what tools to pull out so that I could make this an enjoyable experience. I even got that tattooed on my arm to remind myself that I'm allowed to enjoy the journey as well as the destination. Changing locations, simply changing locations, will not heal you. But if you change how you participate in your life, that will. So here's the thing, for the next 90 days, I am documenting in real time what it looks like to lead your own healing. Not fantasize it, not outsource it, and for damn sure not perform it or put on a show of healing for the internet. If you've ever changed your environment, changed your location, and still felt like nothing changed, you still felt the exact same, then this series is for you. Welcome to Healing Abroad.